I'm not gonna lie to you, bro. Like this might sound fucked up, and I might sound insane for saying this.
Yeah.
But I told everybody that was there in my crew, and before it started, I was like, I can't wait. I can't wait until I'm in the dogfight and fighting.
Yeah.
I was like, I just can't wait for it because I knew it was coming. But I just was like, I can't wait for it. And I didn't know how it was going to come. I didn't know when it was going to come. I didn't know what it was going to bring. And I didn't know how it was going to challenge me. All I knew was that I am ready to get into this dogfight and fucking bring it on.
All right, man. 100 miles. How you feeling?
100 miles. Well, it's what now? 3.5 days later?
Yeah.
Am I right? Is it? Yeah.
Days?
Oh, it's 4 now. It's Wednesday.
Okay.
So Wednesday, Tuesday, Monday, Sunday. Yep. And I finished at 7:20 p.m. on Saturday night.
Yep.
And I started at 8 a.m. Friday morning.
All right, so let's set the stage a little bit for people that obviously don't know. Like, what we're going to do today is recap the 100-miler that you just finished 3.5 days ago. Before that, what was your longest race?
My longest race before that was 50 miles, and that was actually the Old Goat 50 miler out here.
Yeah.
And that took me 14 hours and 28 minutes.
Okay.
And I'll tell you, I'm not going to lie to you, I didn't train at all how I trained for my 100-mile race.
Right, you were putting in work for this 100.
This 100-mile race, dude, I mean, 3 weeks out to 4 weeks out, back to back those 2 weeks, I dropped 75 and 80, almost 85 to 80 miles back to back weekends.
Yeah.
Or back weeks.
Okay.
Like putting those in. There was an instance where I did 4 days. Within 5 days, I ran 107 miles.
107?
Yeah, within 5 days.
Damn.
It was like a 21er. It was a 20 with a like 4K invert. It was like rest the next day, run another 18.
Yeah.
And then from there, the next day was run 20 miles. The next day was 3 hours of movement. And it was just like, fuck, I literally just put in 100 miles within 5 days on my feet. And then that was when the taper started for me.
Right.
And
it was a good peak week.
It was a huge peak week for me. Like, it was funny because it wasn't that I was physically exhausted. I was mentally fatigued.
Yeah, I remember you saying that.
I told you, and I told Sabrina this, and I told Savannah, and I told everyone that asked me how I was feeling. I was like, I'm for the first time I'm going into a race not injured.
Yeah.
Not feeling broken, not feeling beat up, but goddamn, like, I just want to be done with fucking training already.
Yeah.
Like, I was just like,
it's a grind.
It is, especially the way I was training, dude. Like, I was training like that was my full-time job. Let's be real here, right? Like, a lot of things got put on the back burner and realistically it didn't. I did I'll say this, I did a very good job of balancing personal life, business, professional life, and my training, right? Mm-hmm. And I did that because I knew that, hey, it's like, I'm kind of like getting that person. I say it to you myself, like, if I want to go ahead and get into something and I'm going to get into it full steam ahead.
Yeah.
But what was funny was this time doing this with ultra running, it just made everything else around me that much easier and that much better.
Really?
Yeah, like there wasn't stressors about, I got to get 7 programs written in the next 2 weeks of 4 weeks ahead on each of them. I have to go. I got to pick my daughter up this time. I got to see my daughter this time. There was a whole month where I had my oldest with me, like a single dad kind of stuff, where I found a Boys and Girls Club. I was like, hey, you're going to go hang out there from 7 in the morning till 4 in the afternoon. I got my work done, my training done, and then and that was it afterwards. Everything was with her, right?
Right.
When in the past, when I used to own my gym, living in there and working there from 8 to 8, I would hit my daughter. She would stay in the kids' room for fucking 7-8 hours.
Right.
I get done. I didn't want to say a word or anything like that. So, like, I look at those two, and that was just almost a year and a half ago, 2 years ago.
Right.
I look at, like, I ran the race 3 days after opening my business 3 years ago, selling my gym a year ago. A year ago, I was fucking CrossFitting and weightlifting only.
Right. Just a year ago.
A year ago, literally.
Yeah.
A year ago.
And now you've done, 3 ultras?
I've done 5 ultras.
Damn, okay. So I think what's cool is, like, somebody reached out to me, and they were talking about, they started listening to the side shows on social, and they were saying, like, man, I don't run, but I just fucking love your point of views, like, on stuff, and I thought that was really cool because, like, this is a perfect example. Like, 100-miler is a perfect example of anything really fucking difficult in life.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter, right? You want to go to the games, you want to go to regionals, you want to compete in powerlifting, like, the 100-mile distance, it requires so much of you that, like, we could riff on The effort that takes forever.
Yeah. We can bounce everything off of it without a doubt.
Right.
But that's the thing, though, dude, is like I got to experience running this 100-mile race really helped transfer a lot of things into my life that I was missing.
Like what?
Which was, one was attachment. I was really big on getting attached.
To what?
And just to whatever I was consuming myself into.
Oh, right.
So, for instance, it was attaching myself to being a business owner.
Identifying
myself,
as
right?
A business owner, yeah.
And identify myself as this CrossFitter, identify myself as this, but I never really identified myself on a bigger spectrum.
Yeah.
And when I got into ultras and I started training for my first 50 miler, that was back in November, right? I mean, I remember texting you late at night. I remember, like, the back of my hand, I was texting you. I was like, hey, bro, I'm going to fucking sign up for this 50 miler. It's a fat ass race. It's free. I'm going to get into it and just do it. And you're like, bro, it's 6 weeks from now.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, I've been doing some endurance work. I mean, just go and just hopefully like do a linear progression. No fucking idea.
Yeah.
And let's go for it, right?
Right.
And I realized right there and then that if you're going to go ahead and get into this realm of like ultra endurance, that you cannot attach yourself to it.
Yeah.
Because what ends up happening is it might end up turning into a fucking job. And running for that long and being outdoors for that long, it becomes very, very strenuous on the mind.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So it's like if you want to continue doing it over and over and over again, you can't attach yourself to it. You
get burned out.
Because you'll get burned out like that.
Yeah.
Like we'll just burn out super fast. So what I started realizing was, don't attach myself to it. Find something else to like attach myself to in a bigger realm.
Yeah.
And then let everything else underneath that push you and help you to it.
Mm-hmm.
So ultra running and training for this 100-mile race was just another piece of the puzzle to create this bigger puzzle that I was looking
like
at.
The person you really wanted to be.
That I really wanted to be, right?
Yeah.
Because like realistically, like, and I'm not going to get into the story of the 100-miler because there's a big story behind it. Like there's a huge story behind it, but we'll go ahead and get into that in a little bit. But the way I looked at it in the realm of it all is that we're all going to experience lows. Right? It's the person that's going to come to continue fighting to get out of that low. And we talk about it all the time in this show.
Yeah, we do.
We talk about it. But I don't think, for me, I had never truly reached that kind of low.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been on a low before, right? Like deployments, like financial lows, like all those kinds of lows. But all those lows were out of my control.
Mm-hmm.
This is a low that I self-induced, that I asked for. And all I can do now is get my own self out of it because I got myself there.
Yeah.
And when I realized that in this time period and just through everything in general, when I realized that is when it was like, okay, I'm doing exactly what I fucking love right now.
Right.
And like, I look at that too sometimes, right? I look at like being a father, right? Sometimes being a father, we're not be fucking perfect.
Yeah.
Right? You might have to do a lot of things, or you might have to get mad at your kid because of something's going on, or just a parent in general. Work. You have a deadline that you have to meet, but you're just like in the middle of it, and you're just like, man, am I really going to be able to get this complete? Am I really going to be able to get this complete at all?
Right.
And then all of a sudden, the deadline's the next day at 12 p.m. and it's 10 p.m. at night than the night prior, and all you got to do is keep working through it.
Right.
And if you keep working through it, by the time you know it, like, the presentation's ready to rock and roll.
Yeah.
But it's just, that's one thing that I realized from it all.
Yeah, it was interesting because, I mean, I talked to you on the phone at mile, like, 80 or something.
I was coming into mile 82.
82. So, and it was funny because I think you were kind of at a low at that point. Like, your blisters had started getting pretty bad. And I thought about it because I was like, man, we talk about this all the time and you're fucking in it right now.
Like, and I'm not going to lie to you, bro. Like, this might sound fucked up and I might sound insane for saying this.
Yeah.
But I told everybody that was there in my crew, and before it started, I was like, I can't wait until I'm in the dogfight and fighting.
Yeah.
I was like, I just can't wait for it because I knew it was coming. But I just was like, I can't wait for it. I didn't know how it was going to come. I didn't know when it was going to come. I didn't know what it was going to bring. And I didn't know how it was going to challenge me. All I knew was that I am ready to get into this dogfight and fucking bring it on.
Yeah.
So I was just eager to get to it.
Yeah.
And
to the pain.
I was eager to get to it.
Yeah.
I was just happy to get there. And I think a lot of it has to do with what we talk about a lot of times, that I was putting myself in a position to actually go and show and actually say, hey, it is fucking possible. Right? It is possible, right? Like, and 2 weeks leading into that race, there was a lot of fucking shit that happened in my life that I didn't talk about with some brothers. Mm-hmm. One tried to attempt taking his life, and that was hard.
Yeah.
Had another guy that I knew deployed with in 2010. And then 2012, he knew a lot of the same guys we knew. He ended up taking his life. No one saw it coming, right? And it was funny is because like that race was dedicated to those who've fallen before us,
right?
Who have taken their lives, who have risked this. And I'm getting ready to go into I signed up. I put myself in a position to go and experience something that these guys can no longer have and do. And I'm pretty sure they would enjoy every single minute of it. At the same time, though, it was like, wait a minute. This is also one of those things where I talk about this. I live this. I put out examples. People listen and think that I don't have lows and think I'm fucking no.
Yeah.
There's a picture, I haven't posted it yet. I think I haven't sent it to you yet. Yeah. There's a picture, I sent it to you, right?
I don't know.
Not yet. I'll have to show it to you. But there's a picture of me at mile 70. It's like 6 a.m. in the morning.
Yeah.
And I'm at the aid station. I come in. And the photo just, I'm not going to say exactly everything because we're not there yet. But the photo straight up just says everything. The look in my eyes, and that is it. Mm. And you look into that photo and you're like, he's inside of it. He's in the fight right now. And like, I think about it now and I fucking get goosebumps about it, bro. Yeah. I'm like, and you know what? I can't wait to go back.
Right.
I cannot wait to go back. And not just because of the lows and the highs, but I saw a glimpse of me being able to excel in this sport. Mm. And like I said, and the reason it's so addicting to be able to, and I'll use it for example, my coach, if no one knows who my coach is Sabrina Stanley, Avery Collins of Power Couple Coaching. And like, I don't know what she did to me, like to train. I've only been with her for 4 months.
Right.
I don't know what she did to me, but I learned a shitload from her, from how she approaches training to what she does as an athlete herself to, what she expected to me as an athlete, right?
Sure.
And it was one of those things where like she sent me my pace plan. And it was exactly what was on my mind, sub 30.
Okay.
Because of the fact that I had already checked some of the other times and all that stuff from last year. And this course is a hard course.
Right.
Not many people come to it because how hard it is. And no one says it is hard, but it's a fucking hard course. I mean, they say it's 17K in vert. I clocked 21K.
Okay. Yeah.
Over 104 miles.
Whatever they say, just for people listening to this, whenever they say an ultra, like they'll say a distance and they'll say the vert, but like it's usually shy.
Oh, yeah.
Like, the distance is shy, the fucking vert is shy. Like,
it is,
it's
yeah.
always worse. And that was something I didn't know when I got into the sport. Because I came through the finish line in my first 50 miler, and they were like, oh, you got 4 more miles. And I was like, what? What the fuck?
Oh, my God.
And it's like, and now I just love that part of it. But
It's the fact of being like, all right, cool, like,
right.
I'm going further than 50. I'm going to clock those miles on a fucking, let's do it.
Right.
But like, that was it, dude. That was just one of those things where I was like, all right, cool. She sent me my pace plan. I saw it, and she hadn't seen the course yet, so some of the paces were a little off or whatever else. But I knew what she wanted me to do on those portions of the course. I could do it. It's just, when am I going to get hit with a low? Am I going to get hit with a low? Cool.
Yeah.
I saw it, and I was like, let's do this.
Right.
Like, I saw the first half of my race was slow. Second half of my race was fast. The third part of my race was straight up like, survive, hold on, and drop everything you got.
Yeah.
Roger that. And like, again, one thing coming from the community of a recon marine and that special operations realm is competition's fun. Competition breeds success and breeds, other people up. So I ran with it, dude. And she had just got done winning Hard Rock 100.
Yeah.
Smashed it. And if no one doesn't know what Hard Rock 100, it's out in Colorado. It's a 100-mile course over 33K in vert.
Yeah.
She took like top 12 overall.
Yeah.
So like really I had a lot of people in my corner that was really there to support me already, right? Like, and she was somebody that really was like, all right, I trust in her, I listened to her, I followed every single fucking detail on that plan. Mm-hmm. Every single detail, right? Like, I did it. There was times she told me to rest, I rest. There were times where she was like, I was like, I need a rest. She's like, no, I got it, cool, we worked really well together. So it was game time, dude. Like, I was just like, all right, let's do this. We talked the night prior, like, hey, what I need to do, what I actually expected, like what I expected of myself, what to eat, when to eat, how to eat, when I want to put caffeine in. And it was pretty much just, all right, let's do it.
And you just basically off the plan and everything worked out.
Yeah.
So, all right, so there's some things I want to like talk about a little bit in this whole process. So one was like you mentioned this fact that you were like really excited about the pain cave. So I think that, and this is a concept that's sort of hard to describe for me, but I think that when you talk, like, pain is one thing, right? Pain is this inevitable fact in life, and it's definitely inevitable in a fucking ultra.
Yeah.
But struggle is resistance to that pain, right? Discomfort is resistance to that pain. And so there's sort of two mindsets, and I've noticed it in myself. Even in the last few years, I've known pain was coming, but I've still like resisted it and sort of fought it. And then only in the last, probably 6 months have I gotten to the point where I like fucking smile just thinking about it. Because there's nothing else to do. Like, it's coming, man. If you want to do this shit, like, know that this discomfort's coming. And so I sort of just like, I laugh about it in the moment, and it doesn't make it enjoyable, but it makes it something. It makes it something that you crave.
It's funny you say that, dude, because if you catch on my patterns, I smile in every photo that I've taken, no matter what kind of pain I'm in.
Yeah.
Have you noticed that? I know a lot of people do. A lot of people around me do.
Yeah.
And I told this to my crew before the race started. I was like, if you see me not smiling, tell me to smile in the face of misery.
Yeah.
And there was multiple times where I was not smiling when I came into aid stations, and Savannah, she straight up was like, hey, smile.
Right.
And I was like, okay, right? And it was, all right, go, because it could be worse.
Right.
It could fucking be worse, right? It could be 100% worse.
Yep.
But you know what? Like, I wasn't. I was alive. Like, I'm feeling pain that I haven't felt in a long time.
Yeah, and it's an indication that you're fucking alive.
It was a high to me.
Right.
Even though like at that time period that it was complete fucking misery, I hated every second of it. I don't know, like my pacer Kevin, I fucking love him to death. If you don't know who he is, Kevin Mayer, he just crushed San Diego 100, top 50 in that race. That's a pretty hard race, a lot of people dropping. And I felt bad for him, dude. Like he came out sick. And I was like, hey, bro, you got to drop 40 miles with me on this race, dude. I don't have no one else. You're the only one that can do it. And we had Jeremiah out there also. Yeah. And Jeremiah is a dude who's been following us and love him to death. He's a great dude. I created family with him.
Yeah.
And, I didn't tell him to pace or nothing like that. But when I was in the shit, dude, we're going back to Kevin. When I was in it, right, like Kevin let me handle it my own. Like most people would probably be sitting there and like, hey, get the fuck out of that. Like, no. Like, he understood. He knew. He just sat there and he was like, all right, bro, keep moving.
Yeah.
He just reminded me to keep drinking water and eat food.
Yeah. And that's the deal with a pacer, right? You want that, like, input that's like, they're there. They're there. If you want to talk, they talk. But if you need to shut up and suffer, you shut up and suffer. Yeah. And they just sort of help you keep moving.
Yeah. Right? And, like, he is having, like, bronchitis. He had, like, his lungs are fucking with him. Now we're at 7K elevation. He's been running me. He just came up from sea level.
Right.
And... it was funny about it all, dude. It was like, he was struggling also, but he didn't show it. He just stayed quiet, and he would, like, go ahead of me and just wait for me, and I'd continue moving. Mm-hmm. I was like, hey, man, I'm there, dude. He was like, drink your water. I'm like, all right. Right. Drink your water. Okay. How much water do you have left? I have this much. Like, he was talking to me like I was his son, and I'm a 10-year-old respond. Like, his son's, like, going to be 3 or 4 or whatever, and he's, like, talking back to him like that,
Right.
So, but no, dude, it's one of those things where I 100%, bro. I was like, if I'm not smiling, tell me to smile.
Yeah.
And again, like I said, there was only one photo that got me not smiling, and that photo says it all for my 100-mile race. Of like, what was my favorite part of that race was where I was at. And I can't wait to get to that in the story. Like, I'm pretty sure everyone was like, what the fuck? Like, what are you talking about? Because I'm not going to lie to you, it was self-induced low.
Yeah.
It would have came, but I self-induced it a little bit faster than I wanted to.
Why?
And I'll get into that in the story also.
Right.
But yeah, dude. So yeah, man.
So I think it's something I've sort of the two things I've started defining. I don't know, my whole process in life by is like always forward, always smiling. Like those two things. Like if you can figure out those two things, man, you can get out of a lot of bullshit.
Yeah.
Right. A lot of lows, a lot of struggle. All right. So do you want to start recapping the race?
Yeah, we can, dude. Yeah, I don't know if you have any more questions or whatever else that kind of.
Yeah, I'll as it comes.
No, the first starter, like I said, I've been to multiple different ultra events, right? I've been to 50Ks and 50 milers, and really didn't know what to expect for this one, and especially with this being their 6th year as an ultra competition, I didn't know if there was gonna be fast racers, local racers, or whatever else. And as we started getting there to the start line, they asked us to be there an hour early for check-in plus briefing, and it was at the point to where I was just anxious to start. I was just like, it's fucking like. I'm an hour out from this. I've been training for 4 months. Like, let's just go. Like, I want to go. And it was really cool because, and like, if there's anybody that are ultra runners out there that are 100-mile racers, And if you never thought about running the Kodiak 100, this is a race that you truly need to run. Like, the course is amazing, it's challenging, and it's gonna, like, even some of the top elite racers out there that were there were like, what the fuck?
Really?
Yeah, and like that doesn't happen a lot, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And the course is coming up, people are starting to hear about it. But it started off nice. We did a nice little mile and a half loop around the village down in Big Bear, and from there went straight up to like a 1,200 foot climb over 3 miles. Right away, so there was real no running from the start. It was like, all right, cool, like you're gonna start power hiking up, and you know what I ended up telling myself start of the race was, don't look at it like 100 miles, look at it as a 50K, and then from that 50K look at it as per aid station.
Yeah.
So what I did was like, all right, cool, first aid station is gonna be 5 point something miles away, let's go ahead and bang it out. And my pace was to be able to be there within 15 minute mile pace, which put me like right around 1 hour 20 to get to the top, to the first checkpoint. And that was great. Started moving, dude, doing really well. And the first 30 miles were supposed to be super slow. The reason for that was because of the fact that I put in close to about 7 to 8K climbing within that first 30 miles.
Yeah.
And it was just that, right? Plus, I knew that it was a long race. I was coming off a long taper, and I'm not gonna lie to you, my legs the first 12, 15 miles felt like complete shit. I was like, felt heavy, and I was like, man, I hope this is not like the whole race. Like, I hope it goes away.
That's
and like,
the problem with a whole long taper too. Like, if you taper too long, sometimes you do get that at first.
so like that's what I like. So like that's true, 100%, right? But I knew that already. I was like, I already got told, hey, your first 25 miles are gonna feel a little more shittier than you want them to. It's gonna feel heavier, but there's gonna be times where you have a glimpse of, you know, hey, they're here, get moving, hold back and wait. Right. So I did, man. And like the first 30 miles, man, it was, you know, it was up like a 1,200 foot climb across Skyline Trail, which is just rollers the whole way through. When I say rollers, they're like, you're rolling up a hill and then you're running down, but it's all single track and running over like the technical terrain. Oh, cool. You get to another one, then you have a 3 mile downhill to the first to the aid station where you can see your crew. Okay. And that was awesome. I got that done within 3 hours, like 13 miles in 3 hours. I'm chilling. Like, I'm feeling good. I run into the aid station, change my shirt, get some food in my system, came in, everything was ready to rock and roll, and knocking it. I was like, all right, cool. Now I had a big 18 mile section where it was 4 miles up, back up from when I came from, and then it was another rolling terrain. And realistically, during that whole time frame, dude, it was a lot of power hiking I was doing. It was funny, I was power hiking a lot of that, and I was still maintaining with a lot of people who were running. Okay. And what I realized was my power hikes were like 14, 15-minute power hikes with trekking pole. It was like an average, which is pretty quick.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean,
sure.
So I was able to handle that, dude. Got into Siberian Creek, and if anyone doesn't know what Siberian Creek, it's like a 7.5, 8 mile descent from 7,500 feet down to 4K. So but the thing is though, is you can't run this downhill. It's more of like on the edge of mountains to where you look down and it's just like, it's just gravel and you just like sliding to your death. You're like, fuck, if I slip, you know. And then there's times where you kind of get into single tracks, you finally gets down there, and then you hit a creek. From there we have a 3 mile climb up. And I knew for myself that climbing for me was one of my strengths, so I'll be able to pass people up. And that's where it happened. I started passing people on my uphills. So the first, I get to Snow Valley, and my first 30 miles, man, were chill. Super chill, bro. Like couldn't ask for anything better, right? Like no lows, no problems, like felt good. All right, cool. I get to the aid station.
And that's the deal, right? Like stay as comfortable as you can as long as possible.
Yeah. And like when I got to that 32 mile mark, like I was like, all right, cool. I haven't ran at all. Like automatically I was like, all right, cool. That was just recovery, like warm up miles. Yeah. That's not really nothing at all.
Perfect. Yeah.
And the next section though was very runnable. And when I say runnable, there was a lot of like gradual uphills for 200-300 feet, maybe 400 feet. And then like some good descents and then some like, it was fire road, but it was some good flats, and then you get right back into it, so you can manage output pretty well, but make up a lot of ground if you're smart about it.
Right.
And I was like, all right, cool, no music yet, finally put some music in, bro. And this time now it's probably about 5:36, throw in a shit ton of calories, dude. And like I was eating burgers, bacon, Spiz. Spiz is this new calorie drink I found that has 4 scoops. It gives you 500 calories of like 100 grams of carbs, like 12 grams of fat, and like 20 grams of protein. with like nothing but a bunch of vitamins and everything else. And a bunch of ultra bike athletes use it. Found out of a guy down here in Fallbrook, dude. And that's been a game changer. That was money. I carried it on me like crazy, and I was putting that down. But what's funny is everyone's like, hey, when the nighttime comes around, you're probably going to feel like shit. You're not going to want to run, or you're not going to want to push. But for some reason, that wasn't the case for me. Like the night times where I made up my money. I went from 50th to 25th place at nighttime.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
So the sunset started setting like around 7:30 or whatever else, and my plan for caffeine was, and so like pay attention to this. So my plan for caffeine was 100 milligrams every hour. All right. So every hour, 100 milligrams of caffeine, and then if I needed extra the next hour, I'd go ahead and up it a little bit. But that was it.
Okay.
When I came into an aid station, make sure to grab some caffeine if they had it there, eat some food or whatever else. Sunset, drop my first caffeine in, earphones in, headlamps on, sun starts going down. And if no one's ever ran an ultra before, like when you're on a mountain ultra, you get to see headlamps as far as you fucking can see.
Right.
Like, and realistically, like, you know which ones are, sometimes you don't get to see them, but when the nighttime comes, all of a sudden headlights pump up and you start seeing how far you are from everybody.
Yeah.
And you're like, and for me, it turned into a game for me. Like, I was like, fuck yeah, all right, cool. Like, we got headlamps, let's start doing work.
Yeah.
And I was like, but be smart, play your game, don't rush, be patient, and just do it, right? And after I saw it, I started passing people up. One after another, just started chasing headlamps. Finally got ahead of that that middle pack. Finally got ahead of them, was like in like 30 something or whatever else. But then the prize pursuit runners started at 12, started passing us up.
Okay.
Fucking prize pursuit guys are super fast. I mean, dude's running by me weighing like 140, just running like it's cool. I'm like, hey guys.
Yeah.
Me, my like 195 pound self. Ran out of caffeine on myself actually, like. So that's spurt between mile 32 to 60.
Yeah.
We had a 5 mile stretch, 10 mile stretch, a 5 mile stretch, and a 7 mile stretch. I ran out of caffeine on me after the 10 mile stretch.
Okay.
So I had to go ahead and go with whatever they had at the aid stations. They're actually using green tea extract pills. And I was like, all right, cool. It said like mental focus, whatever. I was like, all right, pop 2 of them, boom, ready to rock and roll. Felt amazing. It was a different feeling. I was able still to run. I was still all there, whatever else. Came in, fired up into mile 60. Fired up. I'm like feeling good. I'm like sitting like 27th place, dude. Like I'm with the big boys. Like I can catch up to a lot of these guys still. Like I'm feeling good, and like it's my first ultra, bro. Like what the fuck am I really thinking right now? But that's just a competition in me, right? Like that's the guy in my head of being like, I trained so hard for this that I can still keep up with these guys.
Yeah.
Right? And I was like, I can't wait to pick my pacer up, which was Kevin, and let's just start picking dudes off slowly throughout the night. Let's just get it.
Yeah.
Like that was the plan. So I come in that aid station, dude. I throw on tights because it's getting a little cooler, and I put a t-shirt on, pick my pacer up. I started crushing a bunch of food, right? One thing I forgot to do was take a spiz, right? To take my spiz, and I forgot to do that. I ate whatever food they had there, but I drank a cup of coffee and I took Advil.
Okay.
And I never take Advil. Why I took Advil? No idea.
You weren't in pain. You just.
It was just to help with inflammation. That's all it was, right? Again, I never take Advil. I always take CBD. But I forgot CBD that day for the race.
Okay.
The one thing I forgot was CBD.
Okay.
And I was like, "Fuck! All right, cool. Give me an Advil." But I remember why I stopped taking Advil is because I know. If someone's never taken Advil and they take it again for the first time, they feel really loopy. Have you ever felt that before, taking Advil?
I haven't, but I take Advil way too much.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, no. Like, if you've never taken Advil before, you start feeling a little loopy, right? You feel a little drunk, and I felt it before. But, so I drink a cup of coffee, right? Pound that cup of coffee. And I'll give a shout out to Frontier. They hooked me up with it, so. Yeah. But I got to drink. I drank that, dude. It was a full cup. Crushed it.
Yep.
We get moving, dude. We get through our first 4.5 miles, and it was like right before the aid station, 30 minutes hit. Now my goal was to eat every 30 minutes. So I was eating 100 to 150 milligrams every 30 minutes, either a gel pack or however real food was on me. Whenever I got to the aid station, I would double that or triple it. So I was doing that at nighttime. That's what kept me going so well, was how much food I was eating. And when I got to mile 65, in between there, I took 2 gels because it took us an hour and a half to get there because it was a little later and I was moving a little bit slower, but I was still moving pretty good. So I put 2 gels in so I had a cup of coffee, had another gel 30 minutes after that, I had another gel within 20 minutes before the aid station, so still about 30 minutes, an hour within it. Well, I forgot that I told my crew to put in all caffeine packets in and then put like normal ones on another side.
What do you mean pack, like gels?
Gels,
Okay.
because I was using gels that had caffeine in it, like the Mirror Energy, Second Surge, and I forgot the name of the company from them, but I was using those and I was
Do you
using...
like the Mirror Energies?
Yes.
Oh, I hate them.
Dude, they taste like shit, but they're so good. They don't hurt my stomach, dude.
Right, that's true. They're a whole food, I think?
They're a whole food, yeah.
Yeah. Man, they taste awful. But-
Dude, so I'm not gonna lie, when I first tried them, they tasted like complete shit.
Yeah, I used them last week up in that race. I was like, God. Dude.
Yeah, no, but you know what, dude? I use all the slow burning ones. And when I did, at first when I ate them, they were garbage too, but now it's more of just like, get it in, I need the calories, right? And that's a lot of what it was. Well, I had Mirror Energies, and I took a caffeine one without realizing it.
Okay.
Didn't think of it at all. And then put it away. And I was like running, my next like 20, 30 minutes later, I put a caffeine one in now, pulled it out. Well, I pulled out that one, the Mirror Energy one that I had just used fell out also. So my headlamp looked at it, picked it up, it was caffeinated also. Within an hour, I put in 300 milligrams of caffeine, bro.
Damn, okay.
And if anybody's ever put that much caffeine, that's equivalent to like 6 shots of espresso.
So then
This was mile 65.
Okay. So physiology, where you starting to get shaky? Or you get
It's
like, dizzy?
loopy. I felt like I just smoked a crack pipe.
Gotcha.
I literally felt like I literally just taken multiple lines of cocaine, and I was ready to party for the next fucking 24 hours.
Really?
Oh, it was fucking hard, bro.
And so then what happened? Did it make you run too fast? Or?
I know, it slowed me down.
You felt like shit.
Because I felt like it slowed me down because I had no, my cognitive function was complete garbage.
Okay.
So, I ended up starting shitting my brains out.
Okay. Fuck, that sucks.
Shit my brains out. I couldn't eat during that time period.
Okay.
And that stretch was from mile 59 all the way to 70. Yeah.
Okay.
So I get to mile 70 after not eating nothing from that whole time period. Or mile 65 to 70, hadn't eaten a little bit longer than that, hadn't eaten stuff.
Yep.
Hadn't put water down because I wasn't thirsty. Shit my brains out, and I'm feeling like complete shit.
Yeah.
Right? Feeling this blister on the bottom of my foot now.
Yeah.
And I'm like, motherfucker, dude. Sit down at mile 70, and my demeanor coming from mile 60 to 72 to 70 on the whole other 180.
Isn't that wild?
180.
Yeah.
It was so fucking. It was like, I literally contemplated life right there. I was like, I need to get more food. I need to figure something out so I can get up, because I have a 12-mile movement next that is 6 miles up of 3,500 feet of elevation gain.
Yeah.
That never fucking ends. I was like, and I have to go up this mountain.
Right.
I was like, this is the only thing between me and me that's me and the finish line.
Yeah.
Because everything else is, I know on the back of my hand. You can get it done. And so I'm sitting there, right? And they're like, you want more Advil? I was like, no, I don't want no Advil. Get the fuck Advil away from me.
Right.
You want more caffeine? No, I don't want no caffeine. And at that time period, I wasn't the happiest. They're like, all right, what do you need? It's like, just feed me. I need something. I forgot to take Spiz again. I didn't take no Spiz for to help me with that, right? And I was like,
Everybody's got a plan.
everyone got a plan to the face, with a punch to the face. And so again, I tell this to everybody, my athletes, don't do nothing new on game day.
Right.
I
did
all the new shit. So there's a CBD oil that we had there that had some kind of helped you kind of get you sleepy a little bit.
Okay.
Well, I took some.
Thinking it would maybe help you get back down.
Because I thought it would help me level me out and get the pain away. But it did, but it also had the sleeping aid in it also.
Like diphenhydramine or melatonin or
I forgot the name of it.
Sleep aid,
It's some sleep root or some kind of root they put in it that helps. And I have to figure it out. But I ended up taking it. And I remember now, I'm like, all right, cool, I'm feeling better.
Yeah.
I got some food in me. He's like, all right, Kevin. I was like, let's just hike this to the top, and then we'll run it down if I can.
Yeah.
And a mile and a half in, I literally just dropped from 100%, from 20% to negative 10%.
Mm-hmm.
Literally dropped, bro. I literally just became this I don't even know what, just keep moving. All right. And I wish you could see it. Kevin saw me, he was like, what the fuck is going on? And he was like, start drinking water. Well, I started getting this blister on the bottom of my foot the size of like China, like on the bottom of my midfoot, right? Like where I'm running and hiking.
Yeah.
And the reason why it was so painful going up this mountain is because of the rocks on there were like little tiny just mountain rocks. And if anyone knows what mountain rocks are, they're just like these, like, I don't know how you say it. They're like 3-inch by 4-inch like diameter, like, you know,
baby heads,
little baby heads that no matter how you step on it, your foot's going to go whatever way and you really can't take it. It was literally pretty much 3/4 of the way up that mountain was
those
that.
bang you up bad in ultra.
And it was so bad, especially having this like this having this the blister on my foot.
Yeah.
Cool thing was I was still at like 27th, 25th place climbing the mountain. Well, it took me 4 hours almost to get up to the top of that mountain that everyone that I passed in the middle of the night had already passed me going up.
Damn.
It was supposed to be take me 2 hours to go up the mountain, and then 2.5 hours to go up the mountain, and then it took me 4 hours to go up. And when I got to the top of the mountain, I laid there on the floor because one, my heart rate was so high, I was loopy. I mean, it was hard. It's hard to explain. Like you really have to be there to like really understand it. But like
wheels fell off.
Wheels just completely like you talk about like, boom, gone. I dropped down to 40-minute miles. I on my Strava and my Garmin Connect, I dropped down for 5 miles, 40-mile-an-hour paces.
That sucks.
For 5 miles, bro.
Yeah.
Like I'm like, fuck. I turn around, it's time to go down the mountain. All I can care about and think about, bro, is getting back to the aid station.
Right.
All I want is the aid station.
Living for that aid station.
I'm just living for the aid station. I know it's 6 miles down the road, and it's like down this mountain, right? It's like, get me the fuck off this mountain. And like, if anybody doesn't know what Sugarloaf Mountain is in Big Bear, it's like one of the third highest peaks in SoCal.
Okay.
And it is literally a 4-mile hike from the start of it all the way to the top that goes from like 7K straight up to about 10K in elevation gain. So you're straight up like, you're good, you're feeling good on oxygen, and you start getting a little higher, all of a sudden you're like, oh, the air's thinner up here.
Yeah.
Oh boy, I haven't been up here before, like what the fuck's going on? So I'm in my low, being punched in the face, my feet are fucked up, and I'm also now at like 9 to 10K elevation. My head is like loopy.
Yeah.
I feel like my legs are shaking, my body's shaking, like I'm like, how am I supposed to get down from this?
Right.
Like, and I went from a pace of hopefully finishing in under sub 31 to now me pushing back down this mountain to hopefully make the cutoff for that aid station.
Damn.
Because it's now 10:30 and it took me 4 hours to climb up it. We're thinking it's gonna take me 4.5, or it's gonna take me 3 hours to get down it because my feet were so jacked.
Right.
And as we started climbing down it, I started like the first like 2 miles or whatever else down it was the slowest fucking time. I stopped, tried to fix my blister. Everything else like that. And I finally like the last 2.5 miles or last 4 miles, because it was 2 miles to the aid station after you got off Sugarloaf.
Okay.
So I had 4.5 miles left, and I was like, all right, I'm just gonna fucking move. Like, get me to the aid station and I'll be fine. And my buddy Kevin, he was like, dude, just keep moving. Like, so I was kind of chasing him kind of like with this hobble, like in super pain, like whatever else, but like moving. And I made it back down off the mountain with 2 hours to spare before the cutoff at that aid station. When I got there with 6 hours prior to that cutoff of the aid station.
Damn. So you lost a ton of time.
I lost a shit ton of time now. Now we're sitting there calculating, right? I'm in this, I just came out, like, so when I'm running up this mountain, that's when Jeremiah calls you.
Uh-huh.
Right? Jeremiah calls you and I answer the phone. You're like, bro, what happened? I'm like, bro, I'm just fighting right now this low. Like, I was emotional.
Yeah.
I was crying.
Shit sucks.
I was looking for anybody that wanted to give me a fucking hug.
Yeah.
It was that, dude.
That's the part, dude. That's like that moment is what I love about ultras, when you're totally stripped down. You're so like raw. Like you feel everything. Every emotion is like times 1,000.
It was like, fuck, man. And like when I heard your voice, bro, like I don't know if you heard me. When I heard your voice, I got teary-eyed.
Yeah, you sounded good. You sounded better than I thought you were going to on the phone.
Oh, bro.
I was just like, man, get off your feet, get your feet up.
I was on the up and up on the back end though.
Yeah.
Because I heard the aid station. I was like, civilization, yes, fuck yes.
Right.
I got there, my buddy, everyone's there. But like 50Ks, 50 milers, everyone that came off that Sugarloaf looked like a fucking bloodbath on that aid station.
Yeah.
Like that aid station was just It was like a war zone, bro. Like a war zone.
Yeah.
And I come down, dude, and I'm like, fuck, dude, all right, cool. Like, take care of my feet. Brent, who went down there with his wife, he was like, here, bro, take these socks. So I'm going to start running in smart wool socks from now on.
Yeah, it's a game changer.
Yeah, I'm the last minute on that. So if anybody listens to me, go ahead and start using smart wool socks, because I was using Dry Max socks, which I thought Dry Max socks would be good. They had no problems with them running 50 milers, nothing.
Right.
But never ran 100 miles in them. So again, that's another thing new, right? Yeah. So I get in, he's like, here, bro, take this. They fix up my blister. He cuts it, does everything else. I have like 7 blisters on my feet at this time. On the pad of my foot, on my pinky toe, I have this big blister around it. On my other toe, I have another blister on it. My other toe, I have a blister underneath it. On my right foot, I have multiple blisters forming. My toes missing a skin completely. Like, my feet are just fucked. Mm-hmm. All we can do is like cover them up with moleskin, give me a good pair of socks, and it came down to me just sucking it up and just being like, all right, buddy, like,
yeah, nothing else.
There's nothing else. This is on you now.
Yeah.
And like, at that time period, it was mile 82. I knew that I had like 20 miles left. I was like, all right, because it was supposed to be a 102-mile race. It was a 104-mile race. Okay. And I was like, all right, cool. At this time period, I leave at 8. So I get there at 12, and Kevin's like, you have 30 minutes to take care of whatever you have to do. Then I'm kicking you the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
And he was like, and he's coming with me. And I'm like, all right. And he's like, he's looking at the wrong watch. So he thinks that, so this is the funny part. He's looking at the wrong watch, which I thank him for, or the wrong timer.
Yeah.
He's thinking that we had 5 minutes left. Well, I left 10 minutes early.
Oh, nice.
So I left at 12:20.
Yeah.
And it was like, all right, cool. Next aid station is 5 miles from now. I was like, bro, I know this is all uphill. I was like, I can't run this. I was like, I'll power hike it as fast as I can. I was like, we have some downhills. I'll try and jog it out, whatever else. By this time, dude, like my run was like a power walk / waddle.
Right.
Like, I had been in such a low for so long. I mean, I was in a low for fucking 7 hours, bro. Like, most people that get in a low like that in their first ultra usually just DNF.
Yep.
Like, and at this time period, I'm like, all right, cool. Like, let me just pull myself together. So we finally get through the next aid station. And at this time and moment, Kevin's like, hey, I'm not going with you. We're going to put Jeremiah in. And I was like, whatever, dude. Like, you can put whoever you fucking want with me right now, because it doesn't matter who's going to go with me. I'm finishing this motherfucker.
Yeah, yeah.
It was mile 87. I was like, no matter who comes with me, I'm finishing this bitch. Like, that was already in my grain. I was like, give me, like, I went up to the aid station. I was like, you have those green pills, the green tea pills extract?
Yeah.
Pop 4 of them.
Nice.
No care. Like, boom. I was like, give me as much. I started eating everything, and like, I was like, all right, cool, let's go. Yeah, dude, push through it. And the shitty part about that back end climb, or that last 30 to 20 miles, was you have a 4.5 mile descent.
Okay.
And again, my descents, I can't run downhill now, where we're supposed to make our time up.
Descents are bad.
I might as well have fucking been climbing a mountain.
Right.
Literally.
Right.
Because I'm descending now on blisters, and my feet are just fucking, I'm like now trying to find new ways of how to run on my heels. Like, it's fucking stupid. Yeah. I get onto the next, so once I get down off that took me an hour and 30 minutes to get down. 4.5 miles to get down a mountain took me an hour and 30 minutes to get down. Yeah.
This is at the very end.
This is at the very end. This is like mile 92 to like 96.
Okay.
And I'm like, I'm almost done. We get to the last climb. It's called Seven Oaks, and it's a fucking 2.5 mile climb with 2.5 like K vert.
Okay.
So it's another just straight kick in the dick for your last whatever else. So they're like, oh yeah, when you get up to the top of Seven Oaks, you have 2.5 miles left. And I was like, I've ran this before. I was like, I don't think we have 2.5 miles left, like, when we get to the top. So I get to the top, dude, and like, I'm passing people. I'm passing 50Ks, 50 milers, a couple hundred, like, dude, yeah, like, for some reason, right? So I get done. I end up dropping 16s my last 4.5 miles after that climb.
Yeah.
After that climb, right? And it was one of those things where I was like, all right, I'm going to suck it the fuck up and just move, right? So what happened was, like, oh yeah, someone ran into me. They were like, oh yeah, by the way, you're on a 34-hour pace, or 30-hour pace, when I'm thinking I'm on a 35-40 pace, right? Like, thinking that's when I was going to finish.
Oh, right.
So like, when I heard that I had 2 hours, I was like, okay, cool. Like, I do have confidence to continue moving.
Yeah.
So what I ended up doing was like, all right, fuck it. I'm just going to power hike everything and go. And I got to that aid station after I did that 2.5 mile climb with 2K invert. Got up there and they're like, all right, it was 34 hours exactly. And I was like, all right, well, I know it's been taking me fucking an hour and a half to move 5 miles. That means I only got fucking 2 hours to get this fucking 5 miles done.
Right.
Even though it's slightly uphill, then downhill, and then slightly uphill, and then downhill again, but I got to get moving. I spent 3 minutes in that aid station. Literally.
Yeah.
And Jeremiah, I left him behind. Like, he fell off. He just couldn't. He doesn't train for it. He just did his first 50 miler, whatever else. So he fucking ran 16 miles with me, bro.
Nice. That's
like,
awesome.
Yeah, the motherfucker just got out to that and like ran 16 miles with me.
Yeah.
And like, so I'm like, he'll catch me. If he gets up here, he'll catch me because I can't run downhill. He knows he can.
Yeah.
I'm trotting down this mountain, bro, and just going and like holding like 16s now, and I'm like, all right, I'm just almost done. See Jeremiah come from behind me, bro, and fucking catch up to me. I'm like, thanks, bro.
Yeah.
Finish it off together. And, it was funny because as I'm running into the finisher, right? And like from mile 90 to the finish, I felt like I could have gone another 30, 40 miles. I ran in with a smile on my face. I ran in, like, even though my feet were fucked up, I ran in with a smile on my face, happy to see everyone. And I was like, all right, like, what's next?
Right.
Was the first instinct in my head. What is next? What's the next thing I'm going to do?
Like race-wise?
Yeah.
Oh,
or what's,
shit.
yeah.
Yeah, because I remember talking to you right after you finished, and you were like, "Dude, I'm doing Moab next year, the 200." I was like, "Oh, goddamn, right now, huh?"
No, dude.
Good.
Like straight afterwards, dude, I was like, "No, I'm ready to roll."
Yeah.
And I think, and the reason why, dude, is because of the fact that I saw myself that I can do well in this sport.
Yeah.
And what solidified that for me was the fact of being able to be in a low for 7.5 hours like that.
Yeah, still be able to.
And still to come out, and I dropped 24 miles in 7 hours on fucked up feet.
Right.
After being on a 7 hour.
Feet, yeah.
Yeah, after being on a 7 mile low or a 7 hour low.
Yeah.
Like, that gave me a lot of fucking confidence, being like, all right, cool. Like, I keep doing this and keep getting better at it and keep learning from my mistakes and growing from it. It's like I can dabble pretty decently in this.
Right.
Yeah,
that's cool, man. That addiction to pain and to these events that require suffering, that's a real thing, man. I was talking to a buddy, and he did a through hike of the Appalachian Trail.
Okay.
And right when he finished, he went back to his life, and he was only back to his life for about 2 months, and he was like, nah, I can't do this anymore. And he went and started a through hike on the Pacific Crest Trail.
Oh, shit.
On the BCT. And I'm just like, yeah, I think there's something about it, man. It's a couple things. I think it's the pain that you like, but then it's also this sort of just have a mission, the whole entire life is this dedicated to this forward progress, and then once you get through it, it's gone. It's like, okay, but I liked that. So like, what's next?
Well, what I really enjoyed a lot about it too, bro, was the fact that I was able to see the sunrise, right, run through the day, and then all of a sudden see this world change to a nighttime of a whole different life, and it gives everybody a different sense of life and a different sense of like sensory.
Yeah.
Right. Like there's a certain type of sensory deprivation that you get, but also there's other enhancement that you get. And for me, bro, like I didn't do no night training, none whatsoever. And the nighttime was my favorite part. I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I love running through it because I was able to see people and I was able to chase people, and I was seeing like what I fed off of was everyone that was hurting.
Right.
I fed off their struggle and I turned it into like my like positive.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, these guys, if anybody's listening to this that ran it with me, they'll tell you, like, if I came into an aid station at nighttime and all the aid station helpers are like, oh, you're the guy that came in all fired up every single time.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah, that was me. Like, but again, it was just positive attitude for myself too to keep me moving forward.
Right.
Like we can feel sorry for ourselves, or we can just be happy and enjoy what the fuck we're doing.
Right. Yeah, dude, it's wild. It's wild how you do these events, and it's like, it feels like a lifetime of memories in this 36 hours, or whatever, however long it takes. It's like, I've noticed that a few times with these long weekends of running or whatever. It's like, man, how many weekends are going to go by in your life that are just another Thursday, another Friday, another Saturday? Not this one, man. This fucking stretch of Thursday to Saturday or whatever it is, that shit's going to be in your mind forever. Like, you'll always have that.
That's funny. Is my buddy Ben asked me, he's an ultra runner also. He has, and he hit me up. He's like, so how was it? You know, and I was like, dude, for something that felt so long happened so fast.
Yeah.
Something that felt so long happened so fast. Like, that's the best way I can explain it. Like, so much happened within that like short amount of time, but it felt like so fucking long. Like, it never ended.
Right. And
like,
it's just over.
And then all of a sudden, like, you cross the finish line, and you're like, but the great thing about that, I was like, I've crossed the finish line. It wasn't like, well, what do I do next? It was like, oh, I know what I'm doing next.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I was like, all right, cool.
Yeah.
Like, this was fun. Hey, crew, I hope you guys are ready for next year, because we're going to be ready to party next year, you know? So, like, I don't know, man. I this 100-miler really gave me a different point of view of just, like, you know, just in general, dude, of just everything. Like, it was able to piece a lot of puzzles, a lot of pieces. It was able to give me a lot of pieces of the puzzle that I needed to, like, kind of make things happen in my life. Because I had a lot of time out there to think, right? Like, it was just like, all right, cool. Like, and I think multiple times I told my buddy, I told my buddy, I was like, dude, when I was in my low, I was like, you know why this is happening to me? And he was like, why? I was like, because all the shit I did in the past.
Yeah.
I was like,
which you're just manufacturing shit. Like,
I was just finding every fucking reason to, like, blame on why I was in this, and I couldn't find anything.
Yeah.
I could have said whatever I wanted. It could have been for being that complete douchebag in the years back in the past. It could be whatever. It's like, no, bro, you've been running for fucking 70 miles and you fucking decided to take 300 milligrams of caffeine, so you were up on it, and then all of a sudden you decided to crash on it, and then you were exhausted, and it just fucking, it sets you up for you to fight your own way out of a fucking hole.
Yeah.
Like, okay, that's what it is.
So, was there anything that you learned in this event that was, like, different than what you've learned in some of the 50s and stuff like that?
It really, I wouldn't say that, because I learned a lot, right? Like, it helped, like, reevaluate a lot of things, and I can't say I didn't learn, because I learned a shit ton. But what I think the big thing that I took away from it was the things that I am doing correct. And that I should believe in them, and trust in them, and have patience in them, and know that sometimes it might not feel that it's correct, but it is correct.
Yeah.
You know? Like, there was times where, like, I shouldn't be going this fast, but it feels good. All right, trust it. Or, hey, I shouldn't be going this slow. You shouldn't be doing this. Are you, like, you know, a lot of those things, but a lot of the, like, at the same time, when I look at, like, what I learn, and it's hard to say, because there's, like, again, we keep talking about, there's so many things on there.
Yeah.
It was, one was, you're in control of your own destiny. That's realistically what it came down to, is, like, I'm in control of all of this. Like, I didn't have to have my crew put my food gels inside my pack. I could have done that.
Right.
I could have avoided that.
Interesting.
Right?
Yeah.
For instance, I knew better than buying a fucking pair of Gore-Tex shoes going into a race, but I bought them because I knew it was going to be raining, and I hadn't put no more than fucking 5 miles on them, but I decided to put them on. Guess what? That's your fucking fault for getting blisters on your feet. Right? Like, all those things came down to validation that we are in control of our own destiny, and we're in control of our own actions. And every action has a reaction. Either it's going to be a positive reaction or it's going to be a negative reaction. But guess what? Those negative reactions let you and set you up to know that those positive reactions means you're doing something right. Because you think about it, right? Like, I've ran in a pair of shoes that I've ran in plenty of times, right? Like, I know better than throwing a pair of shoes that I haven't ran with and going that far in them. I know all those things. I know not to do all that. But all that stuff was in my own control. So at the end of the day, it comes down to that I'm in control of all of that. It's on me on how I want my destiny to go ahead and finish for that time period.
Right.
Or what my story is for that time period in that chapter. That's really what it was, right? It's just a chapter in my book.
Right.
It's just a chapter. It was a quick chapter. George's doing a 100-mile race. Cool, let's fucking do it, right? And that chapter I can write out and be like whatever else. But if you go back and look at it, and you look at the facts, it all came back to me.
Yeah.
Right?
That's cool. Yeah.
It all came back to me.
Right. Dope, man.
Yeah, dude.
100 miles in the books.
Dude, it's been a blast, bro. And I'm not lying, man. I've already talked about it. Me and Sabrina already talked about it a little bit. Planning for a 100-mile next year sometime in May or April, and then training up for Moab.
Yeah, I'm going to do Moab next year, too. That'll be dope.
I mean, dude, I know, I'm serious, dude. Like, let's get it done.
Yeah. Well, last weekend I spent at the Bigfoot, and
that's why I keep
just being around that 200, man. I was like, I thought I was done. Like, after I ran Tahoe, I was like, I'm fucking not doing another one. Man, I got there and I was like, oh, I'm fucking doing another one. Like, I was
it's just like the energy, like
the community's fucking awesome. You know, like, the people are great. The experience is epic. Like, all around, man.
And
I can't recommend it enough.
I'm not gonna lie to you, like that was another big thing, right? It was like there were people there still waiting till that 36-hour mark for everyone to come in.
Right.
And let me put this to example for everyone listening. 198 racers started, 62 finished only.
Oh damn.
That's a 33% rate.
Yeah.
Finish.
Yeah, and that's super low for an ultra.
Super low.
Yeah.
Super low. And that was with 15% for 15 elite athletes there,
Yeah.
and then your regular. So we take it down. What's that? 47 normal athletes that were there running it?
Right. Damn.
That's crazy.
Well, congrats on being one of them.
Dude, yeah, it's fucking awesome.
Nice. Dude.
But what I wanted to say, listeners, like you don't have to go run an ultra marathon, but just go experience one.
No,
Just go to one. Go to a start and then go to a finish. And if you have friends in it, ask them to take you, or just go with somebody. Go check it out because
work an aid station.
Yeah, work an aid station because the energy is completely different.
Yeah.
And that's one thing that, and like you said, right, when you walked into that 200 mile, you felt the energy.
Yeah.
It's like, it's something you don't get from weightlifting. It's something you don't get from CrossFit, something you don't get from sports like basketball and that stuff. No. Like, it's just a different type of energy and you look around and people of like all different sizes and ages and whatever are all doing this. And you're like, wait a minute, he's about to run 100 miles? Or that lady's, and that guy's 70 years old. He's about to run 100 miles right now and he's in front of me. He's been leading me like,
right.
You know, like, so
I agree.
It's a big experience for sure. I think a lot of people would benefit from just kind of feeling the enjoyment of it all.
Yeah, I agree. Dope, man. Well, congratulations again, and thanks for joining me again.
Always, buddy.
Thanks for listening to LionHeart Radio. I hope that the information from today's show will make you fitter, happier, and healthier. For the show notes of this episode and every episode, head to www.lionheartrad.io. Yep, just like LionHeart Radio. And please, if you have the time, head over to iTunes and give us a 5-star rating. It really helps us to know that we're on the right track and delivering you reliable information and value. As always, feedback is welcomed. If you have any comments on the show or like to suggest a guest, send me an email at rick@luavive.com. That's LUAVIVE.com. Thanks for your support, and we will see you next time.
Bitch, I feel good. Don't I look stupendous? My shine is so endless, and shit you can do to end this. Even when I'm dead, niggas still gon' bump that chip shit. Coke, white, Escalade on cinches for you dipshit. So you won't forget this. Midwest nigga be the coldest. Cleveland